Things are escalating quickly across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex today for your Sunday, as widespread showers and thunderstorms will erupt along a warm front that's going to be lifting across the Metroplex later on this afternoon, and then an active dry line out west moves in. All that activity merges over North Texas, erupting with a widespread severe weather outbreak unfolding across North Texas. So let's really go over the parameters here this morning, and this is the expanded risk. This is an enhanced risk across all of North Texas, and this does include a good part of Central Texas as well. Let's really break down each of the hazard modes, because hail is going to be a huge concern. The entire Metroplex, all of North Texas, has a hatched risk in place, implying that, hey, some of these, larger hailstones could be up to the golf ball size type variety, maybe even up to tennis ball is definitely not out of the question. So it's a day that you need to get all your cars under cover to protect them, because we do have the capability of producing damaging hail across a good part of Central Texas, as well as especially into North Texas. And unfortunately, the tornado threat has really ramped up into the overnight. And then this morning, they expanded a 10% hatched risk. That is those strong tornadoes potential. So we could be looking at a couple tornadoes within this region, but some of these could be strong, of those EF2 type variety tornadoes. So definitely be on high alert. I will actually be doing live coverage on this event starting about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So let's break down some of the timing here. Let's look at the latest high resolution guidance going into about 4 o'clock. So I think we're going to have the initiation of storms starting to develop out here in West Texas along the dry line. So we're going to start seeing supercell thunderstorms start to bubble up around 2-3 o'clock further out west, as well as in down here into Central Texas. So this is what the radar could look like about 4 o'clock, with these numerous renegades really popping up, and that isolated nature has the capability of those big time hail producing thunderstorms. But as we get into the 6 o'clock time frame, that first initial mode will be over the heart of the Metroplex. We could be looking at numerous supercell thunderstorms breaking out with big time hail producers, as well as tornadic producers as well. We could be looking at a couple of tornadoes within this region. So really, for all of North Texas, it's a huge concern today. And then going into the 7 o'clock time frame, it is really elongated over the heart of the Metroplex, and this is definitely concerning. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 supercells over the heart of the Metroplex. So that is definitely concerning. Each one of these could be big time hail producing and some tornadic spin up tornadoes. So it's a high alert day. It's a helmet on day. It's definitely one of those days that you need to stay weather aware, have a safe plan in place, and have your cars under cover. That's why we're doing live coverage on this channel starting about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I think the timing goes until 10. So this is your 10 o'clock time frame. So it starts out west, starts further south, and then all this merges together across the heart of the Metroplex. And by 10 o'clock, it should be done. For the most part, it should be done almost by 8 o'clock in a good part of the Metroplex. And then that will shift off into East Texas, heading into the Tyler region, going into Texarkana, as well as into Shreveport. And then it just becomes a very heavy rain event as it pushes into portions of the Arklatex. But man, this is definitely concerning. Looking at some of these latest high resolution guidance of the Helicity Index updrafts, I mean, these are definitely kind of scary looking, folks. This is not what you want to see. I mean, this is elongated over really the heart of the Metroplex, across Fort Worth, across Dallas. Let's hope this doesn't play out, because this is looking really severe and could have some big time tornadic producing thunderstorms with big time hail across the heart of a heavily populated area of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But going into tomorrow, that jet stream, I mean, it's a very dynamic setup going into next week. As we move into Monday, that system will be over portions of Arkansas, getting into Mississippi, portions of western Tennessee. These areas could be looking at very heavy rain trailing along this boundary here as the dry line gets really moving into Texas, and temperatures surge tomorrow well into the 90s. You're probably looking at near record high temperatures across a good part of North Texas. The record is 95. I think I'm going with 93 in Dallas. But all eyes will be transferred up here to the Northwest because we got another dynamic system that is going to be coming in, and that's setting the stage for a Tuesday type setup. So let's break down the rainfall parameters over the next 48 hours. And this is the system that will be coming in that originates out here in West Texas, that'll move across East Texas through Louisiana into Arkansas, portions of Mississippi, heading into Alabama here. This is the rainfall estimates over the next 48 hours. And some of these could be flooding potential storms, especially as you get towards Louisiana and Mississippi. There's a second pocket of energy that brings some rain showers further north towards the north of Ohio here into Michigan. But the second system, that's what we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at all this activity up here in the Pacific Northwest and the Intermountain West region as a dynamic low pressure center really starts to form and come out of Wyoming, especially heading into the Dakotas, with very heavy snow. Very dynamic system, a very powerful system. Tuesday looks to be a widespread severe weather tornado outbreak, and a lot of the same reasons, unfortunately, that got hit on Friday. So this is the setup as the very dynamic jet stream will be screaming across, having all that upward rising motion air, and then boom, widespread showers and thunderstorms will be erupting within portions of the Missouri Valley here into Illinois again, as well as into good part of Indiana. So looking at a significant day. In fact, there's the Storm Prediction Center of the massive hatched risk already in place for Tuesday. So it really going to be elongating really in far northeast Texas, getting into the Arkansas, Missouri, heading into Illinois, southeastern portions of Iowa. The list is kind of almost identical to a similar type setup than what we saw on Friday, and a lot of the same places too. So that is really unfortunate. It's a very damaging day. You can see there's two modes as well. You got the southern mode and you got the northern mode, and that's what's concerning. And this is probably going to be upgraded to a moderate risk as we head into tomorrow's update. And I can't even roll out as a possibility, maybe the day of, that they even upgrade it to a high risk in some of these areas. It has that capability, unfortunately, and even some guidance has it looking potentially even stronger than what we might have seen the other day. And we had widespread tornadoes. I think the last official count, because they're still doing a lot of surveys, we had 80 reports, but so far they've confirmed 28 tornadoes across that tornado outbreak on your Friday time frame. So, but look at the expansion of where the tornadoes could possibly be on your Tuesday time frame, mainly over portions of eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, into Illinois, and the southeastern portions of Iowa. That will extend into Indiana and portions of western Tennessee. And then here's your hail threat. That's also going to be really significant. Very large hail, big time large hail. Could even be baseball size hail. You can't even rule out some isolated reports of even softball size hail with these extreme updrafts that we're going to be seeing during the day on your Tuesday time frame. And then the winds are going to be really prevalent too. So it's going to be a multi-state, widespread severe weather tornado outbreak coming up on Tuesday. Here's the latest 3K NAM. It only goes out till noon on Tuesday, but just shows you the significance of these tornado parameters that are already kind of showing up, and we're not even at the intensity, the peak of this particular system. So Tuesday definitely appears to be a very dangerous day ahead, but there's also a snow aspect of it too. We're going to be looking at a serious snowstorm and a blizzard happening up here in a good part of the Dakotas with extreme impacts, folks, for South Dakota. Extreme impacts. So we're looking at heavy snow to over a foot, likely with a major winter storm developing over portions of the central Rockies to all the way to the northern plains, places into the Dakotas, into Minnesota. All these areas are going to be impacted with potentially blizzard-like conditions for these areas as the snow really starts cranking on your Tuesday and your Wednesday time frame, causing widespread disruption to life and dangerous wind chills as well. I mean, wind chills below zero. I mean, this is April, folks. We're talking wind chills below zero in this part of the country. So definitely, this is a very, very dynamic system with powerful winds, blizzard-like conditions, foot of snow, and then a widespread severe weather outbreak unfolding on Tuesday. So it's a very, very, very active day coming up on Tuesday. There's the setup on the surface map. So you can see this very dynamic low down to a 9, probably 9, upper 90s, upper 970s, maybe low 980s range, but very dynamic low, tight isobars. That's where we got those 50-mile-per-hour winds blowing and drifting snow. Whiteout conditions up here in the Dakotas and a good part of Minnesota. And then you get this like shrimp-like look to it that we saw the other day with even, straight line wind aspect that hit portions of Chicago. We could be looking at some of that same similar type dynamic system as we go into your Tuesday time frame. And there's the going into Wednesday. So this will move off, continue to, have that shrimp type look to it with the heavier snows really starting to wind down, and after leaving a foot of snow, still got some leftover snow during even on the day on your even under Wednesday night time frame. But this will extend in a good part and move into Ohio and Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and you're still going to have of that very dynamic system on the northern mode, and you still could be looking at big time severe weather risk even farther north. So this is a day 4 risk for places in Columbus and to Dayton and all into Toledo, back into Cleveland, Detroit, portions of Grand Rapids, all the way into Buffalo, folks. I mean, we're talking severe weather in April all the way further north, all the way up into Buffalo. That's how very dynamic system this is. And this will extend and trail across the East Coast, kind of like the same system we saw the other day. We did, in fact, end with some tornado watches across the East Coast, and this got upgraded to an enhanced. So yes, that can't be ruled out as we get closer to this system, as the same, really healthy dynamics continue to move further east. Don't let your guard down even into the Northeast on Thursday timeframe, with probably more severe weather happening across the Northeast and portions of the Mid-Atlantic, and then the heavier rains and strong, gusty, damaging winds across the East Coast here. And then we'll have to be concerned about very heavy rain setting up across the deep south, especially towards the Houston area coming up on Thursday with that frontal boundary in there. With all the sea surface temperature anomalies, the heavy rain is really going to be cranking across a good part of the Beaumont area, back into Victoria, into the Houston Metroplex, Baton Rouge area. Those areas have to be on heightened alert. You're probably going to be having some flood watches issued by then. And going into next weekend, I know people, it's going to be Easter weekend. People are like, hey, what's happening with the weather? Well, I mean, after a very intense week, I think things settle down by the time we get into Saturday timeframe. The action will be along the coast here with still that heavier rain, but for a good part of the country, you're going to be on the more of the calmer side compared to what we're going to be going through the next 5 days. And then on your Sunday, for your Easter Sunday, there's that system again. We'll have to be concerned about heavier rain. So these areas down here in the portions of South Texas are going to be picking up a lot of rain over, especially from that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame. But again, for the good part of the country, you're looking at a very nice Easter coming up. And as far as temperatures go, it's going to be looking like basically average temperatures overall for a good part of the country. So I appreciate you guys watching. It's a very serious day. I'll be back at 2 o'clock with live coverage covering this entire event from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I'll also be doing live coverage on the Tuesday event. So it's been very busy, guys. Spring storm season is here and it's going to be very active. So you definitely stay weather aware, have a safety plan in place, and I'll see you at 2 o'clock.